The desert sun burned like fire over the shifting sands of Mesopotamia. The wind howled across the barren plains, carrying dust and secrets buried for thousands of years. Beneath those ancient sands lay the ruins of empires that once ruled the world, and within those ruins rested a secret that could rewrite human history. In the year 1849, British archaeologist Sir Austen Henry Layard led an excavation in the heart of Nineveh, the legendary capital of the Assyrian Empire. What began as an ordinary dig soon turned into one of the most significant discoveries in archaeology. Deep within the ruins of King Ashurbanipal's palace, Layard's team unearthed more than 30,000 clay tablets, perfectly preserved in hidden chambers, as if someone had intentionally buried a library of forbidden knowledge. These tablets were inscribed with cuneiform symbols, the world's first written language, used by the Sumerians, one of the earliest known civilizations. At first, experts assumed these were simple records of trade, taxes, and rituals. But decades later, when controversial linguist Zecharia Sitchin began translating them, the world was stunned. The tablets told a story unlike anything humanity had ever imagined. They spoke of a race of beings called the Anunnaki, a name meaning, those who from heaven came down. According to the Sumerians, these beings were not gods in the traditional sense, but flesh and blood entities who arrived on Earth over 450,000 years ago from a distant planet called Nibiru. The descriptions were shocking. The Anunnaki were said to be tall, powerful, and technologically advanced. They had ships capable of interplanetary travel, machines that could manipulate matter, and knowledge of the cosmos far beyond what humans would achieve for millennia. The tablets even described how they descended from the skies, settling in Mesopotamia, and began shaping the destiny of our species. One particular tablet contained a chilling declaration: "We created mankind in our image, to bear our burdens and serve our needs." The implication was clear: according to these ancient records, humanity was engineered. The Anunnaki supposedly found primitive hominids on Earth and altered their DNA to create a new species, Homo sapiens. Mainstream historians dismissed these claims as mythology, until the tablets revealed knowledge no ancient civilization should have had. For example, the Sumerians had drawn the entire solar system, perfectly mapping planets like Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto thousands of years before modern astronomy discovered them. Even more mysteriously, the tablets described Nibiru, a massive planet with a 3,600-year elliptical orbit. For centuries, scientists laughed at the idea, until recent studies suggested a possible Planet X lurking beyond Neptune, matching the Sumerian descriptions almost perfectly. How could an ancient Bronze Age culture have known this, unless someone told them? But the mystery deepened in 2003 during the Iraq War. While the world's attention was fixed on politics and oil, several reports surfaced about U.S. military forces securing ancient sites around Ur, one of the oldest Sumerian cities. Whispers began spreading in conspiracy circles, claims that newly discovered tablets and unknown artifacts were secretly transported out of the country. One unverified report suggested that among these artifacts was a sealed chamber beneath the ruins, containing an object described as non-human technology. While no official documents confirm this, satellite images from the time showed a sudden no-fly zone around the area, heavily guarded by coalition forces. Whatever they found, it wasn't ordinary. Meanwhile, researchers continued studying the tablets recovered decades earlier. A team analyzing one artifact, tablet K8567, found something extraordinary, a mathematical sequence hidden within the symbols. When cross-referenced with modern genetic databases, scientists discovered that the sequence matched human DNA markers with over 99% accuracy. In other words, the tablets contained blueprints for human genetics, written thousands of years before DNA was even discovered. But this discovery raised terrifying questions. If the Anunnaki created us, why did they leave? Were we abandoned, or left behind for a purpose? Some translations suggest that the Anunnaki's arrival on Earth was driven by necessity, not conquest. Their home planet, Nibiru, was allegedly facing environmental collapse. They came here in search of gold, a precious resource they believed could repair their planet's atmosphere. However, mining gold on Earth was dangerous and exhausting. The tablets describe a rebellion among the Anunnaki workers, and to solve the problem, their leaders supposedly created a hybrid species, humans. We were designed as a labor force, capable of intelligence, but stripped of higher knowledge. Then, suddenly, about 12,000 years ago, the Anunnaki vanished from the historical record. The tablets go silent. No explanation, no farewell, just disappearance. But not before leaving behind a cryptic warning. When the time of Nibiru's return comes, so shall the lords of heaven reclaim their dominion. For centuries, scholars dismissed this as myth. Yet in 2022, astronomers studying data from the outer solar system leaked a classified report suggesting the presence of a massive celestial object exactly where the Sumerian texts placed Nibiru. Days later, the report was removed, the servers went offline, and several researchers mysteriously resigned. NASA, when questioned, refused to comment. The Vatican, which reportedly holds unreleased Sumerian manuscripts in its secret archives, has consistently denied researchers access. And yet, independent experts are connecting the dots. The tablets, advanced astronomical knowledge. The mathematical codes linked to human DNA. The hidden military operations in Iraq. The suppressed astronomical data. All signs point to one shocking possibility: our origins are not entirely human. Our DNA may carry an alien signature, an unspoken connection to beings who shaped us, and who might one day return. The more we uncover, the clearer it becomes. The Anunnaki Code isn't just ancient mythology, it could be a record of our true history, buried under centuries of denial and suppression. And if Nibiru's return is real, then perhaps, the story of humanity hasn't even begun yet. The sun was setting over the ruins of Ur, one of the world's oldest cities, where the Sumerians once built towering ziggurats that touched the sky. Among these desolate sands, Dr. Aidan Cross knelt before a shattered stone tablet, brushing away thousands of years of dust. What he uncovered would ignite a storm of controversy across the scientific, religious, and political worlds. The carvings depicted something no historian could easily explain: a humanoid figure wearing what looked like a modern spacesuit, standing beside strange symbols, and holding what appeared to be a double helix structure. DNA. This discovery didn't just challenge history, it threatened to rewrite the entire origin of humanity. According to the tablet, the Sumerians described the arrival of powerful beings from the skies, calling them the Anunnaki, those who came from heaven to earth. But this tablet went further than anything ever seen before. It detailed a process called Lu, Anna, Kti, Am. 2, loosely translated as the life-binding code of the gods. The inscriptions described how the Anunnaki manipulated the genetic blueprint of early hominids, accelerating human evolution to create a labor force for their vast gold mining operations. Gold, the tablet claimed, wasn't simply a precious metal to them, it was a cosmic resource, used to stabilize their planet's atmosphere. But here's where it gets truly disturbing. The tablet mentioned that not all humans were created equal. Some carried a pure Anunnaki essence, a trace of divine DNA, the children of Enki. Others were engineered with limited capabilities, designed only for servitude, the subjects of Enlil. If true, this could explain the mysterious royal bloodlines that seem to have controlled power throughout history, from ancient Sumer to Egyptian pharaohs, European monarchies, and even today's elite families. Could they all share a single, ancient genetic thread tracing back to the Anunnaki? After Dr. Cross's discovery, the tablet was quietly moved to a secure research facility in Geneva under the codename Project Seraphim. But just days later, the research center was infiltrated. Surveillance footage shows 3 unidentified individuals breaching a locked vault, bypassing biometric security as if they knew the system. The tablet vanished without a trace. Coincidentally, or perhaps not, the same week, several of the world's most powerful private foundations met in Zurich behind closed doors. Among the attendees were representatives from major banking dynasties, leading tech corporations, and government agencies. No official records exist of what was discussed, but leaked fragments of emails suggest one topic dominated the meeting. The activation of the blood protocol must remain classified until the convergence. But what is the blood protocol? And what is meant by convergence? Thousands of miles away, at the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology in Leipzig, researchers studying ancient Sumerian skeletons uncovered something inexplicable. When mapping their genomes, they discovered segments of DNA that do not exist in any other known species on Earth. At first, they suspected contamination, but repeated tests confirmed the results. Even more astonishing, these same DNA sequences appear in less than 3% of today's human population, disproportionately concentrated among individuals from historically ruling families. This isn't pseudoscience. In 2013, scientists published a controversial study in the American Journal of Human Genetics detailing non-terrestrial markers in mitochondrial DNA samples. The paper was quietly retracted within weeks. And yet, deep inside classified archives, governments seem to have known about these markers for decades. An internal NSA briefing leaked in 2016 explicitly refers to a Category X genomic anomaly, highly restricted, accessible only to top-level defense officials. If this anomaly truly traces back to the Anunnaki, then humanity's very existence may have been engineered, divided, and controlled from the start. Here's where the story takes an even more unsettling turn. Ancient Sumerian texts repeatedly reference a celestial body called Nibiru, the homeworld of the Anunnaki, describing its highly elliptical orbit around the Sun, returning to Earth's vicinity roughly every 3,600 years. For centuries, mainstream science dismissed Nibiru as mythology. But in 1983, NASA launched the infrared astronomical satellite, IRAS, to map distant objects. Within months, IRAS reportedly detected a massive planetary body beyond Pluto. Newspapers like The Washington Post ran headlines calling it a mystery heavenly body, but soon after, NASA went silent. Decades later, a whistleblower revealed internal documents showing NASA tracked this object, now referred to as Planet X, moving on a trajectory consistent with Sumerian descriptions. If this is true, it suggests something staggering. The Anunnaki may have been visiting Earth on a predictable cycle for hundreds of thousands of years. But here's the chilling part: according to calculations made by independent astronomers, Nibiru's next close pass could happen before the end of this century. If the Anunnaki are real, and if they are returning, it explains why governments, corporations, and secret societies are fighting over control of ancient artifacts and genetic data. Multiple leaks suggest there's an ongoing covert war involving intelligence agencies, private military contractors, and breakaway scientific factions. One declassified CIA report from 2014 mentions a site in southeastern Iraq, beneath which lies non-terrestrial technology of potential global impact. This tech, believed to be linked to the Anunnaki, is rumored to have the power to reshape biological systems through vibrational fields, eerily similar to Nikola Tesla's theories on frequency manipulation. The same report references a mysterious artifact codenamed the Stargate Key, allegedly capable of opening dimensional pathways using quantum resonance. This may sound like science fiction, but several whistleblowers claim the U.S. invasion of Iraq in 2003 wasn't about oil, it was about securing these artifacts before other nations could. Deep within a Tibetan monastery, explorers discovered fragments of an ancient manuscript called the Book of the Sky Lords. The text speaks of a time when the gods will descend from the heavens, reclaim their creation, and judge the bloodlines of man. What's shocking is that these prophecies match other ancient sources: the Mayan Popol Vuh, the Egyptian pyramid texts, and even certain passages within the Dead Sea Scrolls. Across multiple civilizations, separated by oceans and millennia, the same story emerges. The creators shall return. This raises a terrifying possibility. Humanity may be standing on the edge of a predestined event, one written into our DNA thousands of years ago. The night was silent in Vatican City. Inside the Apostolic Archive, beneath layers of marble and reinforced steel, lies one of the most heavily guarded collections of ancient knowledge on Earth. For centuries, only the Pope and a handful of high-ranking cardinals have had unrestricted access. But recently, a whistleblower known only as Lucius leaked fragments of documents allegedly originating from a secret vault labeled Archivum Prohibitum, the Forbidden Archive. Among the leaked files was a manuscript called Liber Genesis Primus, translated from ancient Sumerian into Latin nearly 900 years ago. The text describes the arrival of the Anunnaki, their genetic engineering of early humans, and, most disturbingly, a prophecy about their return. One passage, translated from Latin, reads, "When the celestial wanderer returns from its long path, the heirs of Anu shall awaken, and mankind shall face the reckoning of the blood." This wasn't mythology. It was a warning. For decades, researchers have suspected the Vatican knows more about humanity's origins than it admits. But according to Lucius, the Church's secrecy isn't just about theology, it's about power. Buried deep within the forbidden archives are several objects retrieved from Sumerian archaeological sites in Iraq during the early 20th century. Among them is said to be a crystal data sphere, allegedly containing holographic records left behind by the Anunnaki themselves. The sphere, according to Lucius, can project images of star maps, genetic codes, and advanced technologies. But here's the twist: documents suggest the Vatican isn't studying the artifact alone. A covert alliance called the Orbis Domini, an elite coalition of religious leaders, corporate CEOs, and high-ranking intelligence officers, has been formed to control access to these secrets. Their agenda: to maintain dominance over the masses by deciding how much humanity learns about its true origins. Meanwhile, thousands of miles away, a dusty archive in New York hides another missing piece of the puzzle: Nikola Tesla's confiscated papers. When Tesla died in 1943, the FBI seized over 80 trunks of his research, much of which remains classified even today. Among these files are rumored blueprints for a device Tesla called the resonant harmonic engine. According to declassified fragments, this machine could tap into the Earth's natural frequency and produce unlimited free energy, technology eerily similar to what ancient Sumerian texts describe as the key energy, the power source the Anunnaki allegedly used to operate their spacecraft and life-altering machines. But that's not all. Some of Tesla's notes refer to vibrational gateways, suggesting he had discovered a way to manipulate time and space using high-frequency energy fields. Here's where it gets chilling. An NSA leak from 2018 revealed that Tesla's device was tested under a classified program called Project Kronos. Reports claim the technology bent local spacetime, creating measurable distortions in gravity and light. Why is this relevant to the Anunnaki? Because several Sumerian inscriptions describe the gods opening the heavenly paths to travel instantly between dimensions. Tesla may have accidentally rediscovered their ancient science, and the US government has been weaponizing it ever since. In 1999, a retired NASA astrophysicist, Dr. Elias Montrose, claimed that the agency had been tracking a massive celestial body, likely Nibiru, for decades. He revealed that NASA operates a black-budget initiative called Project Phoenix, focused on preparing for an extraterrestrial contact event. Leaked documents suggest Phoenix isn't just about defense. It's about genetic compatibility. Deep within NASA's Ames Research Center, scientists are experimenting with hybrid DNA models, allegedly attempting to recreate Anunnaki-level enhancements in humans. But why now? Because internal memos suggest Nibiru is on approach, and certain powerful factions want to be ready when the Anunnaki arrive. The Vatican's prophecies, Tesla's missing research, and NASA's secret projects are all connected by a single thread: humanity may not control its own destiny. One of the most shocking connections uncovered by independent researchers involves the ancient bloodlines. Across thousands of years, ruling dynasties have preserved specific genetic markers, the same markers identified in the skeletons excavated from Sumerian sites. From the Egyptian pharaohs to medieval European monarchies, and even extending to modern billionaires and political leaders, these families seem to have guarded their bloodlines meticulously, avoiding dilution. Why? Some theorists believe they possess traces of the Anunnaki essence, making them descendants of the gods themselves. This could explain why so much global power is concentrated within a small circle of interconnected elites. Leaked documents from the Bilderberg Group hint at something called Project Ascendant, a clandestine initiative designed to activate dormant genetic codes in individuals carrying the Anunnaki markers. The goal: to prepare the rightful heirs before the return of the creators. Buried within the Book of the Sky Lords, discovered in Tibet, is a cryptic passage. In the age of the sixth sun, the gate of Anu shall open, and those of the divine blood will rise as rulers once more. Cross-referencing this with the Mayan long count calendar reveals something terrifying. The prophecy points to a celestial alignment happening in 2047. Independent astronomers have confirmed that around this time, Earth, the Sun, and Nibiru could enter a rare gravitational resonance. Some believe this event could reactivate dormant strands of DNA within certain humans, unlocking abilities our species has long forgotten. Everything leads to one chilling conclusion: there's a countdown hidden in our ancient texts, our genetics, and our history. The Anunnaki left behind clues about their eventual return, but they also left warnings. Dr. Aidan Cross, still in hiding after the Geneva incident, now claims he has deciphered part of the missing tablet stolen from Project Seraphim. According to his notes, the tablet contains a map of energy nodes across Earth, locations aligned perfectly with megalithic structures like Stonehenge, the pyramids of Giza, and Göbekli Tepe. These sites may function as planetary reactivation points, designed to channel cosmic energy during Nibiru's next close pass. But if humanity isn't prepared, the consequences could be catastrophic. The desert night was silent, but beneath the sands of southern Iraq, something ancient was stirring. Aidan Cross stood at the edge of an excavation site guarded by private military contractors, his hands trembling as he held a fragment of the missing Sumerian tablet stolen from Project Seraphim. The last translation had finally unlocked its secret, a set of coordinates buried beneath the ruins of Eridu, the world's first recorded city, once called the home of the gods. According to the tablet, this was where the Anunnaki's final gift to humanity had been hidden, a device called the Namtar resonator. Legends described it as a machine capable of altering biological structure at the genetic level, rewriting life itself. And if the warnings in the Vatican's forbidden archives were true, activating it could either awaken humanity's dormant potential, or destroy us completely. Aidan's team wasn't alone. For weeks, multiple factions had converged on Eridu: Orbis Domini, the Vatican's secretive cabal, Project Phoenix, NASA's Black Budget Division, and a rogue syndicate of powerful elites known as the Ascendants, descendants of the so-called pure bloodlines. Each group believed they had the right to control the artifact, but none understood its true power. As floodlights illuminated the dig site, Aidan descended into a newly discovered chamber, the air thick with the scent of ancient dust and something metallic, almost electric. Carved into the basalt walls were symbols unlike any he'd seen before: intricate spirals, interlocking hexagons, and a depiction of 12 towering beings standing before a fiery planet. His breath caught when he recognized the Sumerian glyph for Nibiru. Suddenly, his comms crackled. "Dr. Cross, we've got company. Unmarked helicopters inbound." Before Aidan could respond, the night erupted into chaos. Searchlights swept across the sand as heavily armed Ascendant operatives stormed the site, exchanging gunfire with Orbis Domini's elite guards. Explosions shook the ground, dust choking the tunnels below. Aidan pressed deeper into the chamber, clutching the tablet fragment, until he reached a sealed obsidian door covered in a lattice of golden circuits. The markings matched Tesla's stolen blueprints for his resonant harmonic engine, technology the US government had suppressed for decades. Somehow, Tesla's research and the Anunnaki artifact were two pieces of the same puzzle. His assistant, Layla, scanned the circuits with a handheld Tesla coil modified from the recovered patents. As she aligned the frequencies, the door responded, vibrating at an ultrasonic pitch before sliding open with a deafening roar. Inside lay a massive spherical chamber, its walls lined with crystalline conduits pulsing faintly with blue light despite being untouched for thousands of years. At the center floated the Namtar resonator, a flawless obsidian device, shaped like an inverted pyramid, suspended in midair by a magnetic field. Energy crackled faintly around it, distorting the air itself. Aidan approached cautiously, but as he drew near, his biometric watch spiked, his heart rate doubled, and strange patterns lit up on the device's surface, as if responding to his DNA. Layla whispered, "It's reading you, like it knows who you are." In that moment, the weight of the ancient bloodline theories became terrifyingly real. Perhaps Aidan wasn't just studying the Anunnaki legacy, maybe he was part of it. Before he could process it, a deep rumble shook the chamber. The Ascendants had breached the tunnels and were closing in fast. Their leader, a tall man draped in a black exosuit, stepped into the chamber, his voice cold. "Step away from the resonator, Dr. Cross. It belongs to us." Aidan refused, clutching the tablet fragment tighter. The man raised his weapon, but before he could fire, the Vatican's Orbis Domini operatives stormed in from the opposite side, wielding energy weapons reverse-engineered from Tesla's missing patents. The resonator began to hum violently, reacting to the heightened electromagnetic field, and suddenly the entire chamber was bathed in blinding white light. Aidan's ears rang as his consciousness blurred. Visions flooded his mind: towering golden cities under twin suns, human beings stepping out of liquid stasis chambers, and vast orbital craft hovering above Earth. He saw the moment the Anunnaki arrived, modifying early hominids with strands of their own DNA, creating a hybrid species designed for adaptability and intelligence. But there was something else, a warning. A voice, deep and resonant, echoed inside his skull: the convergence approaches. Your blood carries the key. Choose balance, or extinction will follow. When he came to, Aiden was lying on the chamber floor, the resonator now fully active. Its smooth black surface had unfolded into a spiraling lattice of light, projecting holographic star maps, equations, and genetic codes into the air. Across the projections, one pattern repeated: the alignment of Earth, the Sun, and Nibiru in 2047, the same date from the Tibetan prophecy and the Vatican's forbidden archives. This wasn't just a return, it was a scheduled reset. The resonator appeared designed to trigger a global activation event, rewriting the genome of every human carrying latent Anunnaki markers. Layla grabbed his arm, fear in her eyes. If this thing goes live during the alignment, it could change us. All of us. But the Ascendants had other plans. Their leader activated a portable Tesla field disruptor, hoping to seize control of the device. The energy field destabilized, causing the crystalline conduits to crack and scream as arcs of plasma tore through the chamber. Alarms echoed through the tunnels, ancient mechanisms grinding to life as if the entire complex were awakening. Then, without warning, the Vatican's commander shouted, "It's not meant to be controlled. If you force it, you'll collapse the resonance field." But the Ascendants didn't listen. In seconds, a violent energy shockwave erupted, knocking everyone off their feet and collapsing half the chamber ceiling. Dust and rock rained from above as Aiden dragged Layla behind a fallen pillar. Through the chaos, he saw the resonator rising slowly into the air, its magnetic field intensifying. Patterns of light danced across its surface, forming a symbol he'd seen before, etched into the original Sumerian tablets, representing the return of the Sky Lords. Outside, satellites began detecting electromagnetic anomalies over Iraq. NASA's Project Phoenix issued an emergency lockdown, while military satellites tracked a massive disturbance in the ionosphere, centered directly above Eridu. And then, without explanation, a series of encrypted signals were detected, not from Earth. The source was triangulated to deep space, beyond Neptune's orbit, exactly where Nibiru was predicted to reappear. Aiden realized what the Vatican had feared for centuries: the resonator wasn't a weapon. It was a beacon. The Ascendants had accidentally triggered a signal meant for the Anunnaki themselves, broadcasting Earth's readiness, or perhaps humanity's failure. Across the globe, reports of geomagnetic surges and DNA anomalies began to surface. Hospitals in multiple countries reported newborns with unexplained neural activity, and researchers observed subtle changes in the Schumann resonance, Earth's natural frequency. The countdown had started. As the chamber collapsed, Aiden and Layla barely escaped to the surface, where the night sky burned with streaks of unnatural auroras. High above, something shimmered faintly against the void, massive, distant, and moving slowly toward Earth. Layla stared upward, whispering, "They're coming back, and we just told them where to land." Aiden glanced at the resonator fragment he still clutched, its crystalline core still glowing faintly. In that moment, he understood the choice the voice had warned about. Humanity had two paths: embrace the transformation and unlock the dormant potential coded into their DNA, or resist, and risk extinction. But it was already too late to stop what had begun. And somewhere, far beyond the edge of our solar system, something ancient had awakened.